Texas A&M going to Coral Gables to play Miami. This line has been moving just a little bit in the last 24 hours. I saw it at 4 yesterday. It's now at 4.5, favoring Texas A&M. 3:30 Eastern, ABC. Two teams that are looking to sort of reinvent themselves, two big brands when it comes to the college football landscape. And for Texas A&M, so much talk about the talent, the recruiting. Well, now you're in a position, I think, where some of that talent is further along to where you can expect more dividends. Last year was last year. You're looking to prove, no. We still have the guys. We still have the coaching staff. We still have what we need here in College Station to go where we want to go. Now, the offense is what everybody's talking about. You scored 52 last week against New Mexico. That's great. This is your chance to do it against a more formidable opponent. Now, for Miami, this is kind of the same thing we're talking about with Texas A&M. Big opportunity for them to prove that they are a new operation. Last year was last year. We got two new coordinators in here. Shannon Dawson dialing up the offense, scored 38 last week against the other Miami. Miami reestablished themselves as the true Miami, so good work for the people in Coral Gables. And what I'm looking at in this game, for Miami at least, is if you want to prove you are a new team, you want to prove that this thing is going a different direction, well then let's go beat a team that you lost to last year. Let's go right that wrong. You lost one in College Station, kicked 3 field goals. Offense did not get in the end zone. Defense actually played pretty well, allowed 17 points. A&M's kind of got their own issues. Lance Guidry now calling the defense for Miami. You hear what I'm saying. If you want to provide a mark for progress, well then you go ahead and win this football game and beat a team that you lost to last season. All right, so without further ado, let's get right into this thing, man. This is going to be the first real test for Texas A&M of their offensive prowess. And when I say offensive prowess, I mean more specifically, this is going to be a test of Bobby Petrino and Jimbo Fisher's working relationship. That's great. You score 50 against New Mexico, but we all want to see, what does it look like if there's a couple 3 and outs early against Miami? What does it look like if maybe things don't go exactly how they were supposed to go the first couple of drives? It is one thing to throw somebody the keys to your car and sit shotgun while you drive around the parking lot. Maybe you go drive through Chick-fil-A, shout out Chick-fil-A, and that's all well and good. That's just a casual trip, not really high stakes. It's another thing to throw someone the keys and say, all right, let's go on the highway. Let's go on the main roads and through a couple stoplights, through a couple intersections. Then you really got to trust somebody, right? So Bobby Petrino now will be, I would imagine, having both hands on the wheel. But if he doesn't, if Jimbo Fisher starts reaching over and grabbing the wheel and we see that Texas A&M offense just kind of look a little bit like it did last year, I think we'll be able to tell pretty quickly in this game how much Jimbo Fisher is allowing Bobby Petrino to run this whole operation. So for Miami, though, the other side of things for them is they are battling to have balance. So much made about Shannon Dawson coming from the air raid tree. Like, I think they want to run the football. Yes, maybe they want to run to throw the football, but even so, you have to be able to be two-dimensional against this Texas A&M defense. They bring back 77% of the production from a season ago that only allowed 21 points a game. As much as was said about the A&M offense, the defense, I think last year was pretty solid and a lot of key pieces back. So when you look at this game, when you look at this way this whole thing could shake out for Miami, it is imperative that they are able to be two-dimensional. And on top of them being two-dimensional, they need to be able to have somebody that can separate at the wide receiver position to open things up a little bit. Because last year, we talked about it at the top of this segment, they scored 0 touchdowns in College Station. They were 3 for 5, I believe, when it came to field goals. That's not going to cut it. You know it. I know it. Tyler Van Dyke knows it. He looked really good that first game against Miami of Ohio, I believe. But even so, man, like, they have to be multiple if they want to have a chance in this game. And being multiple, going back to that wide receiver position, is Colby Young the guy that separates for you? Because last year we saw a lot of drops. We saw them look just sort of out of sorts and not really with it. Like, this is the kind of game where, for Miami, you need to have some skill players really separate. I like what they have in the backfield. I like what they have on the offensive line. They're really going to get tested, though, against this Texas A&M defense. So that's crucial for them to be multiple and get a couple yards of carry early to open things up and be able to dial it up a little bit more, like I think Shannon Dawson ultimately wants to do. But this Texas A&M defense is by no means going to be an easy task to operate against. Now, the real matchup in this game for me that could end up being like the deciding factor, especially late, is Bobby Petrino's offense, his power spread kind of scheme, Connor Wegman running the show, Evan Stewart on the outside. Bobby Petrino wants to mess with the safeties of Miami. Bobby Petrino wants to match with every safety. He wants to kind of toy with any safety he can find out there, but especially Miami in this game, because Miami's got two really good ones. You got Cam Kitchens, you got James Williams. And those of y'all that have watched Miami play ball, man, you know they will run up and thump. They will come up and play and run support. And they are going to need to do that against this power spread kind of approach. They want to get downhill early. And so what I think you're going to see is A&M be very patient in their game plan. I think you're going to see a lot of Amari Daniels, a lot of downhill early. You'll see some quick game, but I'm curious to see late in the game, if it is close, and A&M's trying to find a way either to score to put it away or score to go up or whatever it ends up being, do you see those safeties start to trigger a little bit quickly and start to read the offensive line and trigger downhill on that power, look, if you will. And then, oh no, here's the play action from Wegman. Cam Kitchens can't get back quick enough. Evan Stewart's deep, touchdown Texas A&M. Is that the reality? Or do we see the front seven of this Miami defense do enough to where those safeties don't have to come up and play run support as urgently? That's the battle. So early on, keep an eye on the yards per carry for Texas A&M. If they can make it manageable enough to where you don't add in James Williams, you don't add in Cam Kitchens, and you'll be in good shape. So I think this is actually going to be a very close game. I think this will be a gritty game. I think both offenses will look great at times. I think they're going to struggle at times as well. Like, I don't think you leave this game saying, yep, problem solved, week 2 offense, we're ready to roll now the rest of the season. Like, you probably still have some things to clean up because it is week 2. It is new coordinators. But the quarterback play, I think, will be a lot of fun to watch. Connor Wegman, tons of ability. Tyler Van Dyke, you know what you're getting with him. I think he's going to be a version of himself we saw in 2021. But when the dust settles on this one, I think Texas A&M makes enough plays late offensively. I think Bobby Petrino does dial it up and hits a big one deep to ultimately have the go-ahead score. And I think Texas A&M wins this football game 24-20. The Hard Count is brought to y'all by Roback. And Roback is a brand that I have stood by for a long time. And I'll say this, they get us as college football fans. Like, from tailgate to game day, like everything that you need, they've got it. I mean, the polos, you guys all know that I love Roback. I wear them all the time for a reason. They have the best polos on the entire market. If you need a polo to last you the entirety of like a hot game day, you're at the grill, you're with your buddies, it's hot, it's September, like, hey, we got a lot of ball to play now here. We got to make sure we're locked in from sun up to sundown. Moisture wicking technology, a 4-way stretch, makes it easy to move in while keeping you feeling fresh, right? Good ventilation. Roback also has everyday shorts. They are perfect for pairing. So get you some everyday shorts, get you the polo, you're set for game day, baby. They're so comfortable, have elastic waistband and great fabric that is made to stretch. So you're not going to be out there kind of feeling stiff at game day, just sweating through it. Good fabric, moisture wicking, you're in good shape. Now also, Roback has been proudly leading the new NIL charge. They've signed partnerships with college stars from Cade Klubnik, Kyle McCord, Nick Singleton, Jalen Milroe, big game for him this Saturday, Audric Estime. They've also teamed up with the legendary Coach O. All right, so use the code JD on Roback.com for a generous 20% off for all new customers through the end of this week. Okay, so at the end of this week, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but make sure you use code JD for 20% off. That's spelled RHOBACK.com. 20% off all performance polos, shorts, and more with code JD. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.